Hello everybody. I'm back. I know it's been a while. I've been so busy. In fact, I shouldn't even be taking the time for this video, but I am. I've got a lot of stuff I need to talk to you about. I'm going to be doing two videos today. One is this one. This is the first one, which I just want to get this out of the way. It's titled the Townsend Water Department Update. I want to bring, I'm, I'm just going to talk about staffing. I think Townsend Water commissioners more than anything, as well as the whatever I can tell you about David Vijan, the superintendent. But I want to bring everybody up to speed that hasn't been paying attention to every detail that goes on at town hall, like I tried to do, almost against my will, but can't help it. It just comes at me. So right now, the Townsend Water commissioners is kind of short staffed. If you might be aware that we have a board of water commissioners and they were elected officials, and they make decisions about some things that go on the water department. The day-to-day operation of the water department is done by David Vijan, the water superintendent. He's the one that knows the water, and he's licensed, and he's ultimately responsible for the day-to-day operation to make sure the water's flowing in our tap, and hopefully on most days it's clear and safe to drink. I think almost every day that's the case, but every now and then things go wrong. But he's really been working diligently at getting things running over there, and that's his job. And we pay him. I thought hopefully I haven't looked at his salary, but I think it's okay for what he does. But anyway, the board of water commissioners are not paid. They are responsible for overseeing some of the decisions. They make some of the decisions about rates and things like that, and some of the major purchases. It should be a complementary relationship between the water superintendent and the board of water commissioners, and then we, as the water takers and members of the public, even if you're not a water taker, they're elected officials, so we can interact with them. We, depending on the issue, day to day, we would call the water department office, and they usually can help us with our problem. Um, and then if we want to talk to the water commissioners, go to we can attend one of their meetings, which for the last few years has been all on Zoom. So, which is fine. It means nobody has to leave home. We can go visit the water commissioners without leaving home. So that's kind of cool in that regard. One of the things that's been happening is, if you didn't know about it, we built a water treatment facility. It's not wastewater treatment, it's the regular water treatment. That was done in order to deal with the problem with PFAS, which was a contaminant that was in our water in the harbor. So the Harbor Trace facility was built, and it's quite an impressive place. They did a open house recently to allow people to go through, a lot of presentations, all that kind of political stuff. But they showed it. I didn't attend. There is a video on the Town of Townsend YouTube channel that shows that big day. Um, anyway, so that's one thing that's going on. We got a new water treatment facility. It still has yet to be fully paid for, but that's a whole nother thing. I'm not getting into the scandal so much. I might briefly mention it throughout this thing, but it's. I'm not dismissive of it. I'm on top of that, and I'll be following up. There'll be all right. I'll talk about it a little bit. There's a pre-conference hearing. I think July 20. Oh, it's next Monday. Today, what is today? Oh, it's the 21st. Gosh, I thought I was late. Okay, it's next Monday. There's a pre-conference hearing that's on Zoom with the state ethics commission. Is it ethics? Yes, it is ethics commission. There'll be a pre-conference hearing. I'll be attending that on Zoom. Everybody can, but I will certainly be there in that regard. I'm trying to set up to record it or present it live to you. I've got the software, but I'm still trying to figure it out. No promises. I got to have the time to play with it, practice, and I don't know, new stuff. Once I get it, I got it down, but it's new to me. So I might not be able to do that. It depends on what I can get done between now and next Monday. So, but I just want to talk about what's going on with the water commissioners, and that is we don't have any. Well, we do. We have Todd Melanson. He's the only one. They're working on getting a full boat. Did they get somebody? Actually, we do. I'm sorry. We do. I forgot. Oh my goodness. It's is it Jerry Bazikas? I think Jerry Bazikas is on there. Oh my goodness. I was really looking at resignations today. I wasn't even thinking about who's already on there. So I think we do have a full complement. It's Todd Melanson and I think it's Jerry Pazikas. She's on everything. She's on finance. I think she's on the the historical commission. She's on. Um, she was trying to get on the ZPA. The selectman said no. She's on a few other things. She's busy. She's a busy woman. So hopefully things will get running smoothly over there. But so okay, never mind. So I'm going to go over how what's been going on in the last couple months. So if you haven't been paying attention to the meetings, then you probably would know. But I'm going to try to get to my point. I don't know that I have a point today. I'm just going to inform. This is just information. I'm just telling you some of the things what's going on, and I'm kind of embarrassed that, geez, I forgot they appointed Jerry Pazikas to the Board of Water Commissioners. So we have two, Todd Melanson and Jerry Pazikas. But that might surprise you because it's like, well, where did everybody else go? We had different people, I think, right? We did. Two resigned. Two out of the three resigned over the last few months. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about that. But first, I want to bring up, just so you can put faces with names. I don't have Jerry's picture. I do have a picture of Jerry, but I didn't prepare it for this video, so I'm not going to try to dig it up. But I am going to show you what we're dealing. Not what we're dealing with. Who we're dealing with. These are the former. Well, these are some of the players. This is the up in your upper left-hand corner is Nate Matala. He resigned. I think it's early June. Early June. I have his resignation. I'm going to be reading it to you and showing it to you. You'll see it. It's not Cindy's word. It's the real deal. I try to give you evidence. So we're gonna go through his resignation. It's relatively interesting. You can do with it as you please. Then next to his picture is David Bijan. He's the water superintendent. He's the full-time guy. Well, there's more than one full-time guy, but he's the superintendent of the water department. In the bottom row, we have Todd Melanson. He's currently the chairperson of the water commissioners. And out of the three water commissioners, he's the only one depicted here that is still on board. Jessica Fanioli is the person to the right. Let me talk a little bit about her. She resigned from the Board of Water Commissioners because she applied for a job with the water department. And they hired her. As far as I know, she's already at work in the office in the water department. Now, you might say, no, wait a minute. Didn't she have another job somewhere in town? Yes, she did. She was the assistant town clerk and worked for Kathy Spofford. And for the first couple of months of Harrison Nayot's job in there, she was working there. I don't think she left for any nefarious reason. That word gets thrown around, nefarious. But anyway, there's nothing sneaky about her leaving the town clerk's office. There's no story there. If there is, I haven't heard it. But she moved from the town clerk to the water department. I guess once she got on the Board of Water Commissioners, it seemed interesting. She got to know a little bit more about what goes on at the water department. I'm making this up here. I'm assuming. This is Cindy assuming, just letting you know. So if I have something wrong, sorry. This is just how it seems to me. But she was on the Board of Water Commissioners for a year or so and said, hey, there's a job opening. this seems like interesting. I think I'd really like to do that. It's probably less BS at the water department than it is in the town clerk's office. I mean, everybody's in the town clerk's office asking for something or complaining about something. And there's a lot of stuff going on. It is ground zero at the town clerk's office. So, and I'd say it's not so much that way over at the water department. It's it's low vol. I'm not going to say that she doesn't have a job over there, but she's, I mean, I'm just, it's not the continuous flow of people complaining and asking for it just getting pulled in 49 different directions. And she doesn't have to deal with elections. She might still be an election worker. She probably is. Although I haven't verified that. But yeah, but she's had to, and because of conflicts of interest, excuse me. Oh, because of conflicts of interest, you really can't be on both the water department and the employee. You can be an employee first and then get on the water commissioners and keep that. Um, we had a member of the board of water commissioners for several years who was an employee um, in the water department. His name's escaping me. Mike McEachern. That's who it was. He quit both. I guess he retired and didn't want to do anything anymore. I don't know where he lives or anything, to be honest. I can't, I don't remember. It's been a few years since he left, I think. But you can't go from elected official to employee, but you can go from employee to elected official and be both. So she had to quit the water commissioners, and then she had to do um, there's a form you have to sign. I can't think of the name of it now, but you're saying that there's no conflict of interest here. I'm no financial benefit. I'm just other than my payroll. But she left the water commissioners to work in the water department office, so she had to resign, and she did that I think in June. So that's what she did. She didn't disappear. She's working in the quiet office in the water department, sending us those bills, I think, and figuring out, administrative work for the water department. At first, I thought she was going to go out there and work on the plumbing, but I guess not. I think she's in the office. Okay. So let's talk about Nate Matala. He quit, and I think he quit because he was pissed off. Yes, indeed. So let me. I'm going to get rid of this picture here and bring me back, and I'm going to take. Let's see if I can pull up Nate's resignation. Someday I will get a second screen and I can do this easier. Where am I? That's it. Share. Is that going to come up? I don't want this one. Okay. There you have it. Right in front of us is, I'm looking at the same document you are. I don't want to mess up. Yeah, that's it. Okay, June 9th is when this went through. There was some other comments in here. Okay, from Nate Matala. This is from Nate Matala. I'm not pulling up the header from him. His personal address is public record because it's on this form, but I don't like to throw people's personal addresses out there unless I have to, unless it's kind of unavoidable in the circumstance. You can get a copy of this letter. You don't need it from me. But anyway, it is from Nate, and he sent it. You have to resign. You have to send it into the town clerk. If you're an elected official, you have to resign through the town clerk. And then he also sent it to the Board of Selectmen, town administrator, the water superintendent, and the other Board of Water Commissioners. You want to make sure everybody knew. And to the town of Townsend, 272 Main Street. That's where Town Hall is, in case you didn't know. And then I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Dear colleagues and officials of the town of Townsend, please accept this letter as my formal resignation from my position as Water Commissioner on the Townsend Board of Water Commissioners, effective June 9th, 2025. It has been an honor to serve the town of Townsend in this elected role. I have always taken seriously the responsibility to represent the best interest of the citizens and water takers. It is my firm belief that the voice of the people, expressed through their elected officials, is of the utmost importance in how our public services are managed and overseen. I want to say that Nate's been on and off the Board of Water Commissioners for several years. I don't remember what year he first got on, and I didn't do the research for this video. It's really not that big of a deal. But he's been on for several years. He got off here and there, but a lot of people just aren't interested in getting on the Board of Water Commissioners. If you want to be an elected official, this is not a bad board to be on. And I think you learn a lot about what makes the water get to your house. And it also, you understand what's the deal with billing. How come the bill keeps going up? And how do they figure the water cost and what goes into it? And you get to, I'm assuming that they get to know some of the people that work there. So anyway, so if you want to run, there's still an open seat. You can do a volunteer form and send it into the Board of Water Commissioners or the Board of Selectmen. It doesn't matter who you send it to. You can send it into the Board of Water Commissioners, and then they will look it over and they could vote on it, and then send it up to Board of Selectmen, who has to do the appointment, where it's an elected position. You can also wait till April. Just regurgitate all the meetings that are on YouTube and see what's been going on, and then watch the ones coming up, and then in March, when you get to pull papers for elected positions, run. They're 3-year seats that rotating, so there's already one opening. I'm assuming that will still be open. One of the positions, the one that Jerry Bezikas got on, that she'll be, her seat will be, I think it's up for election in April. So there'll be at least one opening on the Board of Water Commissioners in April. So you can run. You can take out papers or get a dozen of your friends to write your name in. A lot of positions get filled that way. Write-in. I don't know. Welcome to Townsend. It's easier to just do a write-in because nobody cares than taking out papers. Just my opinion. Yes, I'm being sarcastic, but it's true. Wait till you see the ballot. Just put anybody's name in there. They might win. Oh, it's funny. Anyway, back to the letter. Okay, now we're going to get, Nate is not happy. So he quit in anger, actually. Unfortunately, over the years, I have witnessed the authority and responsibilities of the Board of Water Commissioners increasingly and inappropriately assumed by the water superintendent. I disagree with him wholeheartedly in very strong wording here. But these are his words. Despite raising these concerns with all relevant parties, I have a cat. Hi, here's my cat. This is Tiger. Hi, Tiger. You want to say something to the people? Say something. Huh? Yeah? Really? You talk a lot. Yeah? What do you think? You want me to pay attention to you and not them? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. I'll talk to you later. All right. Sorry for that. That's Tiger. That's the stray that I got a while back. You probably remember hearing him chiming in. Okay. Lost my place here. Despite raising these concerns with all relevant parties, fellow commissioners, the water superintendent. Oh, okay. You're going to stay here with me, I guess. The water superintendent, the town administrator, and the Board of Selectmen, no meaningful action has been taken. There was a persistent lack of communication between me and Tiger, apparently. There's no, Tiger, you have to, you can't, I can't, I can't do this. Go over there. Go, I gave you food, go eat it. Ugh. There was a persistent lack of communication between the water superintendent and the board, myself in particular. He's feeling left out. Oh my. Numerous projects have been planned and executed without board input or approval, with commissioners often only learning of them at the time of warrant signing for payment. This unilateral approach undermines the intended checks and balances of our local government and silences the voices of the residents who elected us to serve as their representative. All right, I give up. I have to read this. Tiger. Oh, okay. Equally, what in the world? Okay. Equally concerning is the removal of contact information for all three commissioners from the town's website. This decision has created a barrier between the board and the public, making it nearly impossible for constituents to reach out to their elected water officials. In a role that depends on accessibility and public trust, this is unacceptable. Moreover, all right, I'm going to back up because this is really loaded. If Tiger will let me. Okay. Um, let's go back to this paragraph here where there is a persistent lack of communication, where Nate complained about learning of, all right, numerous projects being planned and executed without board input or approval, with commissioners often only learning of them at the time of warrants. Holy moly. Now you startled me. Gosh, I don't know. He never does this. Jeez. Okay. All right. This is cracking me up. Um, we're still on the air, right? Okay. You hit the computer. I don't know what the heck happened. All right. All right. He doesn't like that apparently the water superintendent was doing his job. And sometimes he has to make purchases and buy parts, buy this, buy that, in order to keep the water flowing. This unilateral approach undermines the intended checks and balances. Well, the day-to-day, there's a thing, it's in our charter somewhere, and there's day-to-day stuff. There's limits to what the superintendent can do. We can't build a building without anybody's permission. But he established plans to and identified needs for equipment and even vehicles that he coordinated some things, and none of the big things could be done without the board signing off on it beforehand. But a lot of the stuff, now to tell you, I've watched most of the water commissioner meetings over the last few years, and I've seen this increasing animosity between Nate and the other commissioners, as well as Nate and the superintendent. It was really getting pretty intense up until he quit. I mean, the last meeting I saw him, I think somebody's got to quit. It's got to be Nate or the water superintendent's leaving, and we can't afford that. Somebody's going to leave because it was just unbelievable what I saw. But the water superintendent has got to do his job. They can't have a board of water commissioners meeting every day so the superintendent can give his work of the day plan and say, "Do you want to talk about this for 3 hours before I go to work?" That's not how anything operates when you have elected officials. The day-to-day stuff, the superintendent has to be able to maintain the water flow and the things that apparently, from what I understand, weren't happening before. But a lot of there's testing and taking action. I don't know all of the right wording, but there's a lot of different things that have to be done, especially when they were preparing for the treatment plant to be brought up to speed or created. He was the there's oh, I know it's the wrong word, but clerk of the works, so to speak. He was running. He was the guy on the ground. He had to make decisions, and he was appointed to do those things. And there's things that he had to purchase with that, but also part of the day to day. He had to work with other departments as well as citizens to come up with plans and act on them in order to keep the town out of trouble and to keep residents' water turned on and to find the cheapest way to do it. But time is of the essence on many of these things. You can't wait. Oh, let me wait. We have to turn your water off until the next board meeting because they have to decide on this plug I need to put in. No. And Nate was getting really that upset about stupid shit, in my opinion. And that's what he's referring to. Now, this is why would you quit over this? Equally concerning is the removal of contact information for all three commissioners from the town's website. The decision created a barrier between the board and the public, making it nearly impossible for constituents to reach out to their elected water officials. In a role that depends on accessibility and public trust, this is unacceptable. First of all, I mean, my 2 cents on this is I know half the town is saying, well, I agree. I think that is a complaint that a lot of town residents have about all the town boards and committees and departments, that if you go to look up, you want to contact either a certain person or sometimes a department, you go to the town website and you can't find anywhere how to get a hold of a department. It's like, do I have to go to this department to speak to them? You know, this is the 21st century. It's 2025. We're 25 years into the new century. We should, and everybody's got email and phone numbers. That why can't I send an email to the water department? I mean, I think I don't even remember, but I want to contact somebody, or there's different officials that I've had to go through old records or guess on how to get a hold of some people. See if do I have so and so's email from 10 years ago, and do they have the same one? And it's a struggle. So I do, to a certain point, I do agree that I wish the town would put more contact information on these different segments of the town website so that the public can contact somebody. And elected officials, we should be able to reach out to them whether they have a town email address or their personal email address. But we should be able to do that. In his complaints, though, I'm pretty, my opinion of his attitude and what he wants he wants to know stuff before it happens, pretty much. Nate wanted absolute information dominance on what's going on with the water department. And it was really troubling. I mean, he complained if he didn't know about things before they happened. And I don't think I'm exaggerating, maybe a little, but no. So he didn't want, if you had a complaint he wanted about the water or something, he wanted you to call him, not the water department. He wanted to know about it like simultaneously. And people weren't able to reach him because they were calling the water department and talking to the superintendent. But that's his job. It's day to day. You're not going to call a board member about a day to day. My water's dirty. What are you going to do about it? Oh yeah, we just had a water main break up. Right up the street from your house. The water department, the water commissioners might not even know about the break yet. I mean, the water superintendent would notify water commissioners that there's a break, but not while they're trying to fix it. You know, geez, give me a minute. So I think that to a certain point, I do agree that more transparency on our town website would be nice. Um, but I think you have to, even if you're a resident and you're trying to reach out to a department, you do. We all have to figure out what's the best way I can do this. There's times where I just wanted to fire off an email to like the highway superintendent, and you can't. There's, or at least when I was looking this one time, I couldn't. I had to call on the phone. It's like, no, I want a written record of a request. And I'm not saying I wanted to like set anybody up. I want to know, even for my own records, not for any bad reason, but I just want to, gee, I had this question or concern about something, and it might not be a complaint, but, and I want to send an email to so and so, and I want, at least for my own record, know that, oh yeah, let me see, when did I contact her? Oh yeah, that was on May 27th. Okay. Okay, so all right, I remember now. Yeah, okay. It wasn't last week, it was May 27th. Okay, so I'll know, yeah, okay. Or it was too soon for me to start complaining that something didn't get fixed. I mean, it's for my own use, not a record for trial. It's just, it's helpful to be able to send an email to people. So to a certain point, I'm a little bit in agreement, but we shouldn't have to. I don't know. Elected officials have the right to be politicians, and they can put their contact information out without discussing their business. But they can put their public information out on Facebook. They can have their own YouTube channel. They have to be careful. I'm not going to get into open meeting law here. There are dangers, but um, I'm spending too much time on this. So let me move on to the next topic. Okay. So I think he's over the top on this because it's him saying it messes up with public trust. I disagree. Okay. This one, here we go. We're escalating here. Moreover, the lack of accountability from the town administrator in managing and overseeing the conduct of the water superintendent has allowed these issues to persist. As a result, the board is left unable to fulfill its responsibilities effectively and transparently. I just want to call this whole paragraph bullshit. The town administrator is not Nate Manila's errand boy. Okay, he's running the whole town, and I mean, I can make comments about things that the town administrator has or has not done. I can have a different video for that, and I don't have that planned. But we can all say the town administrator did this or didn't do that, whatever. But to for for a board member to use the town administrator to communicate with the water superintendent is nonsense. The water superintendent has a day-to-day job to do. Town administrator can't interfere with that and shouldn't. The town administrator should intervene a little bit to a point on communication difficulties to assist in um, making sure that the boards understand their role and responsibilities and the limits of them. But it is not to engage with the town administrator to get the water superintendent to comply with the demands of one particular board member. As I've watched the board meetings, the commission, that they would need to, for something like this, or to engage with the water superintendent in directing work, depending on there's a lot of limits because the Board of Water Commissioners are not usually licensed water people. Todd Melanson is a different situation. He is water superintendent in another community. I think it's Bill Ricker. I could be wrong. It's either Bill Ricker or Chelmsford. I get them confused. He worked in one and now he's water superintendent in the other, and I always confuse them. I apologize to both communities. I don't remember which one it is today. But he is a water superintendent himself. He is licensed and experienced. And I think, I don't agree with Todd most of the time on a lot of things, but I think we're lucky to have him because he does know. He does know the stuff. And some water superintendents that we might have may or may not agree with me that, he'd rather, he might want to have people that's clueless. But the water commissioners aren't there to direct the work. And that should be understood by the Board of Water Commissioners, whoever's on that board. That the water superintendent is in charge of the day-to-day operation. And you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. Or do what Nate did, quit. Take a hike. Find another board to bother. But anyway, next paragraph. It is with deep disappointment and concern that I submit this resignation. I can no longer serve in good conscience in a position where the authority of the office is dismissed, public trust is eroded, and the very purpose of elected representation is ignored. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the residents of Townsend. I sincerely hope that this letter will prompt the necessary reflection and reform to restore transparency, accountability, and the proper governance within the water department. Well, I do want to say that this last paragraph helps me because I do believe that Nate Matala's resignation did the most significant thing that we could have with the Board of Water Commissioners to actually reform and restore transparency, accountability, and proper governance. I think his absence will make the improvement. I think he was antagonistic and he created much of the problem that was present. And I believe that his growing animosity towards his inability to control the water superintendent personally, I think distracted the department from being able to meet some of their other responsibilities. And I'm only going to vaguely mention that and mention the scandal where Dave Vachon is facing an ethics hearing on the contracting that was done for the water treatment plant. And I think if Nate had been more interested in how I think that there would have been less distraction. And because Nate was interested in interfering with the day-to-day operation and having a pissing contest with Dave and not, they weren't asking the right questions. They were, I don't know. I can't, I'm not blaming the water commissioners for whatever's going on the ethics complaint with the water commissioners. I mean, the water superintendent and the water treatment plant. I'm not blaming them because I don't have enough information. And I hope that this is not going to blow up like like my fears include that it is. I'm hoping, I don't know what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for the best on this whole thing. But I think that Nate's resignation actually is a benefit. I think it will provide the opportunity for the Board of Water Commissioners to provide for the town and be able to work more cooperatively with the water superintendent to ensure that we have a safe, effective, affordable water system and water supply, and that the work can continue to improve and expand the public water supply for more areas of the town and without distraction. Um, that's what I hope for the water department. Let me get rid of this photograph of his resignation. But I just wanted to bring up some of the basics, the resignations. I think Nate's resignation was the largest of all of this. To be honest, I just got his resignation today, so I'm not all that slow on the uptake. I wanted to wait till I actually saw the resignation. I heard it had said a few things, but I hadn't seen it, so I wanted to bring it to you once I had it. And I just got it this morning, so I got right on it. But the water department's had water commissioners, which is important to the water department. But Dave is actually able to do a lot more on the day-to-day stuff without interference, because there isn't a board. They can't do anything without meeting and voting on everything they want to do. So he can get his job done, and even with the ethics thing going on. I feel more comfortable with the water situation in Townsend with Nate off the board. I'm sure he's not going to like me saying this, but I'm sure he's not surprised. I think he's a very distracting figure. Anyway, so there will be a position, or there is another position open to get on the Board of Water Commissioners. So you can apply to get on and just do a short time as an appointed official until April. I think would be. I think that's all the term would be if you just wanted to get on for those few months, half a year, and get your feet wet and then decide whether this is what you want to do. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed on some of the things going on in the water department. These are things that if you're not paying attention, you would have missed. And there's no other video out there that goes over this except mine. The real deal is this is where I try to get a lot of information out there. There's sometimes the mundane and sometimes the excitement of what's going on. I'm going to be doing a second video today that talks about the override and some of the crazy crap that's going on with that, because it just gets crazier every passing moment. All right, so let's end this here, and I'm going to do this as a premiere once I get back over to YouTube and get this loaded. Of course, this is before. I'm recording this before, so we shall see. All right, have a good time watching my videos this week, and don't forget we have an election next Tuesday for an override. You know what to do.